actually pronounced Yo-Ho, Yo-Ho, Pirate's Life.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you guys know where that's from. It's from Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean. And no, I'm not talking about the movies. The movies are great, but I'm talking about where the movies were born from. That's the actual attraction at Disneyland. Now, I'm going to do a quick history about this ride. This ride was one of Walt Disney's last projects and thoughts that he did before he passed away. So, when Pirates of the Caribbean ride was thought about, it was going to be originally a walk-through wax museum. But when they found out how successful It's a Small World was and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln with the audio animatronics was, they decided to go with Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which was all the boats and all the moving of the animals and the humans. Now, what audio animatronics is, it's just a fancy Disney word for robotics animation. So anything that the body, anything that the humans or the animals do, there's going to be some sort of audio. So it's very, very realistic, very very real life like. Now there are about 120 of those audio animatronics in the ride. That's a mix of humans and animals. And when it was funny because when the ride was being made, they didn't really have the boats quite yet ready to go, so they decided to make a small. So since Walt Disney was kind of very ill at the time, they made him kind of like a dolly. They rigged up a dolly and a chair, and they pushed him throughout the ride very slow at the boat's pace, which is very slow. And he died in December of 1966. And the ride opened in March 18th of 1967, so he never actually got to see the final product. But as a Disney way, it was obviously going to be great. Now, it was also kind of interesting that the fire marshals that were investigating the ride and going through all the proper inspections, they were saying they weren't sure that the humans or people that were going to ride the ride were going to know what was reality and what was fake, was fantasy. So what they did, if there was any issues, they had a switch, like a breaker, if there was a fire or some sort, shut off at the same time. That way they know, okay, that's not a fire. If they need to escape, they know where to go. So the fact that they knew that the people that rode the ride weren't sure what was real and what was fake. Like on the fire, there's a scene in the ride where the town is on fire. All they used was just cloth, fans, and it was just colored red. And everyone thinks, it does look very real. It does look very real. Now, this is probably one of my favorite rides, attractions they say, because they don't call a lot of rides at Disneyland rides, they call them attractions. If I'm not mistaken, I think there is only one ride at Disneyland that they call it a ride, and that's Mr. Toad's ride. And everything else is just attractions. Now, the next time you go to Disneyland, I want you to try to find, there are 6 hidden Mickeys in the Disney, in that attraction, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. So when you get a chance, go ahead and try to find them, and that'll be that'll be just an extra thing, that I would, that's a huge thing that I like doing. I like finding all the hidden Mickeys. Thank you.